Hey Andrews, welcome back to DIY Nut. Got a tool review for you. Well, I don't know if you exactly call it a tool because we're checking and doing, but what this is a set of thread checkers, and if you have a bolt or a nut that you don't know what size it is, you can use this to find out what the size is. So this has Imperial and Communist units. Imperial goes from 6-32 up to 1-12, and the metric goes from 3 millimeters 0.5 thread pitch up to 24 millimeters 3 thread pitch. There's a lot of them available. I picked this particular one because they were color coded, so it would be easier to know which one to grab. And right there on the lid is it tells you what all is in there, and they do have it marked on each one of these here what size that particular one is, and it is also, well, you can see that it is also marked on the checker itself, so it should be easy to keep them organized. It's made in China, of course. Everything is these days. It's kind of hard to avoid it. It'd be nice to have a American-made set, but I imagine it would cost you 5 times as much, and I just can't afford to spend that much money on something I'm going to use occasionally. So, and I'm not even sure they make them in the U.S. anymore. So it is what it is. So to check a bolt, I think this is Imperial. I'm not 100% sure. You find the one that it's closest to and pull it out, and then you can just screw it on there and see if it goes on. Let's see. That's a little tight, so it might be the next one up from that. Nope, it's not. So you put it in there and you screw it on. It does not want to go on there. Let's see something here. Okay. I think this is 3/8 24, but the end of it is kind of rough, and it's not really going into the checker. And I got another one the same size. It's got the same problem, but I don't think it's this, because the rest of them seem to be working. This is 1/4 so when you pull that out, it screws right in, so that is not a problem. I think they're accurate. I think that was just a goof due to those 2 bolts being crappy. And another 3/8 bolt here. Let's double check that. Oh, you know what I did? All right. So that one went right in. I think those other bolts are bad, but I may have made a mistake. I didn't notice that there's a 3/8 16. That's a coarse thread, and there's a 3/8 24. These might be 16s. Maybe that's why it didn't go in. Yeah, that was it. So have to be a little careful with that. All right. So the bolt was fine. It was just I was picking the wrong item out of here. And I think this is metric. I think this came off a piece of IKEA furniture at one time. So M6 is very common metric bolt, and that's what it is, M6-1. And let's see what this other one is. Is that the same size? That's M6 also. So I think this is Imperial. It came off an electrical item. Let's see if that's right. Yeah, that's 1032. And then we got a couple of, got this real small one here. This is a grounding screw off of something. This one is one of the ones used to hold a plate on an electrical box. I think they are 832. No, they're not. They might be 632. Let me see. Yeah, that's a 632. So if you have a bunch of bolts and you don't know what size they are, you can go ahead and just do that. You have some nuts. Let's see. I think this was 1/2 inch. Let's see. Yeah, all right, so this one is, this was a 1/2 inch 13 nut, so it goes right on there. So again, that's accurate. I think these are communist units. Let's see what goes. Yeah, that's from some knockdown furniture. So that was an M8 1.25. And let's try this one. This is a little bit smaller. It's also from knockdown furniture. I'm guessing it's an M6 because that's very common. Okay, and that went right on there. So use one side to check nuts, the other side to check bolts. And in case you're not familiar with it, let me pull this one out. All right, so this is a 112. So what that means in the Imperial ones is that is 1 inch, and there are 12 threads per inch. On the communist side, M in the beginning means it's a metric fastener. 24 is the diameter in millimeters, so it's 24 millimeter, and 3 in this case is the number of threads per inch. Now if you go real small on the Imperial side, if you go below a 1/4 inch, they start having numbers in front of them instead of the actual diameter. So for example, here's a, I don't know if you can read that, it's pretty small. Here's a 1032. So we have in here 6s, 8s, and 10s. From what I understand, the number doesn't actually mean anything, it just means it's less than a 1/4 of an inch. But the 32 part of it is still the thread pitch. So that would be 32 threads per inch. All right. The case has an actual hinge. It's not one of those living hinge things where it's just a flap of plastic. So that should hold up for a while. And the only negative thing I can see about it, and it's really minor, is that the depth of the foam is quite a bit deeper than the depth of the checkers. So if you push too far, it goes down in there, and then you have to fish it back out. But it is holding the item securely in place. The case isn't bad. It's not top notch, but it does seem to be fairly sturdy, and the latches seem to work pretty good. So it's not something you're going to beat up on the job site anyway, but it's something for the shop. So the case should hold up pretty good, and the checkers themselves seem to be fairly well made. These feel like they're aluminum, and I think they anodized them. That's how they got the colors on them. That's what it feels like to me. So they don't seem to have much weight to them, so which is okay, because this is not something you beat up, so it should never wear out. So that's the thread checker set. If I run into any issues with it, I will let you know, but I doubt seriously we're ever going to have any problems with it because it's fairly straightforward. It's not a necessity in the shop, but if you can spare a few bucks, it can save a lot of aggravation when you're trying to figure out what size something is, because a lot of times I ended up going to the hardware store with the fastener, or sometimes with the item that I'm trying to find the fastener for, which can get awkward because I didn't know what size it was. So it's helpful to have it around. So anyway, thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, and you all take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.